welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About Sex and Something. My name is Young Boss Karen, and Let's Talk About Sex and Something is basically a show where we talk about sex and something. So for this show, this week's topic, we're going to be talking about sex and men. So this is the month of men. This is Men's Month. And, well, I have a man to talk to. So, guest, introduce yourself. Who are you? Why should we listen to you, aside the fact that you are a man? Are you male, by the way?
Okay, I'm not male for starters. I'm not male. So, whatever you think. Well, my name is Boa, and I'm a medical doctor in the University College Hospital. Just rounded up my internship program, and I'm also a hiver who has been here for, well, let's say 4 years. And basically, I think, not that I think, I know a lot about sex, and so I'm quite. I've met a lot of men complain about sexual issues. I did some rotations in urology and also some rotations in obstetrics and gynecology. So yeah, I have quite vast
Women.
knowledge. Yeah.
I see. Okay, so what can you tell us basically about men in general and their sex lives? Because here it's more or less like we always associate men with sex. Is that how it should be? Do you think that's proper? Do you think we're pushing the gender too far, or it's actually accurate?
Well, for a fact, it's not inaccurate. In most people feel that men love sex a lot. However, the real truth is, as men age, they tend not to be able to do a lot of things, and one of them is sex.
Oh.
And so, yeah, the idea of men love sex is more like, to me, not really accurate. Not really accurate. But men want, like I say, intimacy and affection, not really sex, so to say. If you check properly, you must have noticed that a man can hardly, a man above 60 can hardly
Mm.
can hardly stay for more than 5 or 10 minutes during sex.
I
Hardly.
I don't know that. I
Yeah,
have no idea.
you don't have to, but that's what it is. However, you would see that they are the ones that want, people claim to say they cheat. The cheating is just for
Mm.
intimacy and affection, not really that men love sex. But yeah, men love sex, but if a man really, if you are to look at it all through, based on the perceived ideas, it's not true to me.
So you'd say women love sex more than men?
Uh,
It's not a
I
competition.
can I can say that up to a point. Till
Really?
they are, yeah, up to a point. Yes, there's something about turning of the table. At a point, you might, before menopause,
Mm.
there's a point. After menopause, there's also a point. After menopause, the hormones are down, so yeah, it goes down. Before menopause, it's arguable that women love sex more than men. However, they don't show it.
Why?
Yes, they don't.
I don't
Why?
know.
Pride, ego, the
Total
cultural upbringing
exact
and all.
exactly. I believe it's mostly about the culture thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's culture, culture, culture. If you dive deeper after the whole talking stage ceremony, sorry for those who don't understand. After a talking stage ish, you discover over time that it's not really a man's thing, so to say. He does his own stuff. Then after a while, you discover that there's a turn of table too. There's a table turning moment
Yeah.
where sometimes do you know it's the woman that mostly complains that he's not able to do more than one round.
Well, that's because it's mostly sex, whether we like it or not, is mostly determined by the guy, by the male. Because for the most part, when a guy is done, sex is done. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. But for the most part, men just want to have 10 minutes. For the most part, women might,
On
if
average,
you
you could say on average.
yes, on average. Okay, let's say 1 hour on average. But if we are going to talk about all classes, age wise, from from let's say post teen to about 70, 80, the average will be 10. The average will be 10. Post teen will be like, oh, 30, 45, they are still strong enough.
On
40
average,
years
okay,
old.
we're saying average because they're outliers. I mean, I
Okay,
have
on
heard.
average. So on average, let's say 40 minutes. Now, if you I'll say 40 minutes because the number of people that complain about not being satisfied by their husbands is quite alarming. It's quite alarming.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite alarming. So yeah, so that's it.
So you're saying on average, every guy should be able to go 40 minutes.
My thoughts, yes.
That's interesting. That's interesting information. But do you think, okay, what do you think affects guys' sex drive? Like, do you think most times it's affected by the person they're with, or it's just most times a mental thing? Or why do you think some guys, healthy guys, go longer than others?
Number one, for me, I feel it's okay. So ejaculation. I think I wrote a post about premature ejaculation a
Yeah,
few years ago,
I skimmed
and
through them.
there are different reasons why a man is going to be done on time. First of all, we can say we can group it into health factors and non-health factors, like medical factors and non-medical factors. For the first, I would like to go with the non-medical factors. There are techniques, there are things that happen. For example, if you don't have good foreplay, you don't take time to have foreplay, and you don't believe in foreplay, there's so much you can do with your penis. There's so much you can do. So non-medical first, no foreplay is going to be wrong. You can't make it. Then also
You can.
so some people have short ureters. Men with short ureters, I mean, you can't help it. It's just the size of your stuff. So the size of your stuff is not, you don't have a long dick. So the urethra is short. So the transit time is also short.
Sure.
Secondly, you can also have, if you don't use a condom, studies have shown that using condoms help to elongate the time for sex. So if the person is not using condom, hello, you're going to ejaculate fast, and that's sorry for you. Yeah. Then also there's something about mindset. Your
Yeah.
mindset to brain. The brain works in a very funny way. So if you don't like someone, although that's mostly for women, for men it doesn't really work
You
so closely.
sure?
But yeah, it works, but it doesn't really work that much. It works. I'm not saying that. That's why I said for men, yeah, but I would say that it is a minority something. You would hardly find
Mm.
a woman. You would hardly find a woman who goes to um a motel to look for a man. Like, it's not common
No, it's
compared
not.
to a man compared to a man going to a motel to look for a woman, and he doesn't
True.
know her from Adam. He gets happy, he's happy, and he goes home. So yeah, that's it. So
True.
also the brain is somehow. So the brain is also there. The brain factor, where she's not sexually appealing, she's not anything, and you're like, let me just be done. Or at some point, it might like, if a man feels he's just doing it to just satisfy you, he's also going
Mm.
to not going to vibe with you, so the drive is not going to be there. Then it can be also a disease condition too. Diabetes is also
Okay.
there. Diabetes can come in different forms. One of the forms is erectile dysfunction. Do you understand? A
Yeah.
person who has, as you grow old, the prostate grows quite big, and at a point you can't pass urine, you can't do a lot of things. If they remove the prostate and there's no testosterone again, the drive goes down. So, like I said, it's all about what's it called? It's about it has a lot of there are a lot of factors that come into play when you talk about sex drive in men.
Okay. But you mentioned something like men, the mental thing with men is not really such a serious thing. I mean, wouldn't you say a guy would be a lot better with a female that he's comfortable with than one that that's just
Yeah.
random?
The point I'm trying to make here is we're looking at a general perspective. You understand? A general perspective
Okay.
saying that, not saying that if he has two options, the one he knows and the one he doesn't know. We're saying that a random man can have sex with a random woman and enjoy it and be sex driven. Do you understand?
I am inclined through my sense of equality to say that random women can also enjoy having
And
sex
I'm
with random.
saying that it happens more in men.
I am inclined to agree.
So that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to say if, of course, I'm saying that if I have a woman that I am interested in and I just meet a random woman, or I mean, I would what?
Definitely the one you're interested in.
So men are moved by just the figures they see.
True.
It's that simple. Women are moved by whatever they have heard, emotions they have built up, the fantasies they've gone through in their head and all. So that's it. That's just it. That's why when a woman wants to have sex, she's not just thinking about just the sex. She's about thinking about all the things you say to her. She's thinking about all the patterns that you're going to give.
All the
The man is
possible
just
things.
a man is just he has seen you, you are fine, he can do it, and he's going. That's what most men, not all men, not all
Yeah, I
men,
mean,
majority of men. So
mm.
yeah,
But is there any particular reason you give for certain guys being insatiable? So there was a story I heard of a lady who was married to a guy and she was going to have a divorce with him because he constantly wanted sex, like every single time. This guy was not getting tired. Is that, can you call that a medical condition as well? Being
yes,
insatiable?
yes, it can be a medical condition too. There are women who always want sex too. Yes,
I mean, down, they call it, they can put it as a maniac. I mean, nymphomaniac, that's a mental
yes,
situation.
yes.
So, what is there a health condition where a guy would just be insatiable? Because I mean, there's the average that's is there a maximum amount of ejaculations that is just wrong, like it's just unhealthy.
That is unhealthy.
Yeah,
Well, I can't answer that. I can't answer that, but for sure, there's a limit to where you can go. You get
mm,
every man with his body.
true.
I've heard of men that can go rounds for 6 hours, and I've heard of people that can't pass 5 minutes.
2 minutes, 2 minute man, they exist.
So yeah, you know this now. 2 minutes, men. So if there are men that can go for 6 hours and on average um ejaculate about 3 times or 4 times, yes. But with time, when you keep on having sex, with time, you're not able to ejaculate.
Oh,
You're not able to, the quantity and the quality differs. You get a
mm,
man who has not had sex in maybe, I don't know whether I'm to tell you this
sure.
because this is like a code, it's like a cheat code for those who cheat.
Okay.
a man who has not had sex in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 1 month, the first ejaculation seems to be thicker and more in quantity.
Oh.
Now, someone who has sex every day, or in fact, if you have sex now as a man, in next couple of hours you have sex, and the next couple of hours you have sex, like that. Over time, if you check the quantity, I mean,
And the quality.
spermatogenesis takes about 72 hours. That's 3 days. That's the
Oh.
whole genesis of sperm. So if you do that for 3 days, you discover that the quality reduces and quantity reduces over time. So a man who is cheating is simple to catch. A man who is cheating, if you say, oh, he has not had sex in 1 week, you can catch him from the quantity of sperm he has. It brings up, but you can't catch him if it's just 3 days, because I mean, if it's waited for 3 days to have sex and comes back, it will probably have a good amount to release. So yeah, it's the same thing with women too.
How?
Well, the lining of the vagina is elastic.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. It's stretches due
Yes, so it's
to
elastic.
yes,
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 so,
yes.
so over time, there are no hormones acting. If you're not pregnant, it should not get widened based
I
on the
see.
hormonal. Yes. So if over time you're not having sex, it
It's
shouldn't be
supposed to
lax.
be like
It should be a little bit tighter. So that's the concept of what people do when they are going to see men. Yeah. So that's it.
something. Okay, but this thing that you just mentioned that sperm production is every 3 days in men.
It
Does
takes
it
72 hours.
take
Spermatogenesis.
that's 3 days. So is it
Yes.
painful? Because I heard one thing, there was
No,
one
not you
very
don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even know that it happens. It's just in
don't
an
even know.
automatic. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see. That's unfair, but it's okay. We'll manage. We'll manage. So you're saying, is it possible that now when we talk about low sperm count in men, um, does that happen because maybe during a period of time this particular guy had spent a lot of energy and time having
Sorry,
sex, so as
I did not
older?
mean spermatogenesis. Sorry, I meant the amount, the what's it called, the days that it takes for sperm to stay. I meant it takes 72 days for what's
Oh,
it called, for spermatogenesis to occur, and it takes
okay.
72 hours for sperms to die. Like sperms will live for
Oh,
72 hours.
oh, within the sperm ducts, right?
Yes. No, not within sperm duct, outside the sperm duct. Do you understand?
No.
It's confusing. Okay,
It's
so if a man ejaculates into a woman, it
okay.
can stay for 72 hours.
I thought it was 7 days.
No, that's why when you are, the doctor says you should have sex 3 days before ovulation, up till ovulation, and 3 days after, is because the sperm can take up to 3 days.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant like sperm production within the man. It reproduces every
It's about
72
it's about 72 days. 72 days. But yeah, it's about 72 days.
hours or days. Days, hours.
Days. Days.
Days?
Yes.
Ah, that's
Yes.
plenty time. That's like 3 months, 3.5 months.
Reports have said it's up to 72 days, but other reports are saying hours, but I feel it's up to days. But if you check, it's 74 days that is recommended. But for the staying, for sperms that come out over time, it can stay for 74 days. And also, when you, what's it called? When it is on the, as in it's out of the body, it takes 72 hours. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I was confusing it there. Okay,
Okay.
that's okay. So yeah, I was asking something about low sperm count, about guys who
Yeah.
spent a lot of their youth being active and then maybe they get married and they can't have kids because of low sperm. Is that possible?
Well, for me, I don't think it's possible. It's hormonal. Do you understand? Sperm production is purely hormonal, and
Okay.
it's either it's hormonal, and there's a way this thing works. One, first of all, you it is being produced somewhere. Do you understand? So when it's being produced, it's either the only problem will be if there's a problem with the site of production caused by either infection, inflammation, or what? Aging. So over time, you hear that people that have gonorrhea, for example, would experience low sperm count, or they have problem with motility and all. The problem here is in the production. If you cannot produce, if there's a problem with testosterone production, or there's a production within the, as in the conduits of passage, like when it is coming out, then, or there's a production with the storage of sperm. The sperm is stored in the epididymis. So if you have an inflammation of that organ, you're going to have problems with sperm. Infections can also cause sperm problems. The same, see, everything somehow, somewhere, it's the same with women too. There is something that causes the egg to move. However, if there's an infection
Yes.
along the track, you will not.
Mm.
You get, if there's a urethritis, there's what's it called, causes of infertility in men, anything will drop it down. Infections, inflammation, trauma, diseases, metabolic diseases, and all. Diabetes is one of them that causes what's it called? Diabetes is a serious disease that can drop anything. So yeah. So low sperm count is really a relative term, but it should be noted that one, it's possible to ejaculate and there is no sperm inside.
Yes, I'm
That's
familiar.
called azoospermia. It's also possible to ejaculate and the number of sperms are low.
Mm.
There not azoospermia now, it's called oligospermia. There are few. So the probability of getting pregnant is also low. Then it's also possible that the quantity is low too. The usual quantity is about 2 to 3 mils. You get? So if a man is not producing up to 2 to 3 mils, it should be worrisome. Then it's also possible that the sperms itself, the structure is not normal. So you get me?
Yeah.
So if the structure is not normal, then you cannot have fertilization because the structure is abnormal. So there are different factors that come with the saying low sperm count.
Well, okay. I did not know
So
that.
yeah, so that's it. The sperm itself is like a normal structure. It's like the cells of the eye, the cells of anybody. If the cell is not
Mm.
normal, you will experience structural abnormalities. You will experience functional abnormalities. If the sperm is not motile enough, you can't move. It will move. So if it's not moving, it can't what? Get to the ovum, the eggs. So that's it. So there are a lot of things to it.
I
Did I
see.
answer your question?
You over answered actually. Over.
Yeah.
But
I'm
that's
sorry.
that's
I'm sorry
cool.
that I have to answer that way.
Oh no, it's fine. More information is way more, it's more relevant than less information. So I was even planning on going into the medical part. I actually just wanted to hit on the surface and, just play around with the topic. But getting into the medical aspect is actually important because I mean men need to know about their health and all too. So I guess
Yes,
it's also
I kind of posted. I posted something about a few days ago. I can't remember, and I was like, um, women with polycystic ovarian syndrome should do their best. Yes, a portion of them can give birth, but a few of them should do their best to make sure the men they are marrying have good sperm statistics. sperm criteria. Do you
Does
understand?
it help the ovarian what's it to you?
You can't have PCOS and be dealing with a man that has low sperm count.
Sure, sure,
So
sure.
one of
That
the
makes
tests I would advise anybody is to do a seminal fluid analysis before marriage if you know you have someone with PCOS, or if
but
you know you are.
the thing is a lot of ladies don't even find out they have PCOS until they get married, which is a problem too.
It's sad because the signs are glaring. The signs are very glaring.
The signs are usually clear, but they're usually clear. But I found myself looking at females, like a lot of females, I tend to tell them they have PCOS before they even find out they have PCOS because I've researched on it. I know a lot of people who have it, and I have to be the one to look at this female and be like, your face is swollen, you have constant breakouts, your period is irregular, and when it comes, sometimes you have constant bleeding. I have to be the one to be like, all the symptoms, just signs of PCOS. And then they go to the hospital and they're like, you're right. A lot of them don't even know, which
Yeah,
is
it's
sad.
happening.
Yeah, but we're not talking about females, we're talking about men. So you guys have to spotlight for this week. So this has been very, very informative and interesting. And I've had fun talking about this finally. Thank you so much, Dr. Boa, for enlightening us this week.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. It was wonderful.
Yep,
Thank you.
yep. Okay. All right. Bye.
I